Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TechRaptor podcast. I'm Robert Scarpanito, your features editor.
Fuck.
Andrew Otten, editor-in-chief.
Andrew Stretch, interrupting editor.
Hi, YouTube. How's it going? This is the TechRaptor podcast. We're here to talk about one video game only, because there's only one video game that is worth our time this week.
That's
maybe
true.
kind of.
Maybe
But
this year.
So we're going to talk about Super Mario Bros. Wonder, the latest from Nintendo, the side-scrolling adventure platformer game without Charles Martinet in it, as far as we maybe know.
I don't know. Does he have cameo? I haven't thought about it.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that I reckon he could totally be doing in the background, because I think that even in the older games, he was like Goomba and like Koopa Troopa and stuff.
Yeah.
So he may still be in there as additional voices, but we at least know that he is not Mario and Luigi anymore.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole new vibe. Honestly, this whole game. I mean, I know it's like a 2D Mario game, and we've gotten a lot of those. Like that was the first video game ever. Some might say, and be wrong.
We
but
actually haven't gotten a lot of shitty Marios, but
no. But I think there is something about this game that feels a little different than a lot of the other Mario games. And I think we're going to dive into that in this episode. I don't really know what boundaries to set for like spoiler talk.
It's a Mario game.
It's a Mario
game.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we can like it's open season. If you do somehow care about spoilers, just keep that in mind.
I don't know how. There's so many different Wonder Seed effects that it'd be like there'll be some trust me, we're not talking about because there's so many Wonder Flower effects. I'm sorry, not Wonder Seeds.
Yes,
but
Wonder Flowers.
There's so many fucking things that happen.
Mm-hmm. So I think maybe we can start off by kind of just going around real quick and saying how far we are in the game to kind of just set an idea of where we are. I have only finished up to the third world, so I think I'm the least furthest of the three of us in the game.
I have done 5 worlds, one of the two.
Yeah, you're in the fifth world.
I'm in the fifth world. That's right. I'm in the fifth world. I've done 4, and I've opened up the secret world.
I have, aside from the very final secret world, I have 100% completed everything else, including getting all of the standees.
Really?
Wow.
Yep.
Damn.
Wow.
Sitting there rolling the dice over and over again.
Well, in the
secret world, you
can get guaranteed ones.
Well, you get guaranteed for a certain character, but it's not. You can still duplicate those, right?
Yeah, you can still duplicate, but I think that the game still like pushes you towards like a higher chance of getting a new one, because there would be some that I would just purchase.
I only had like 20 out of 140 or something, 144.
Yeah, 144.
And like I only had 20 something, and I did it like 5 times in a row and got duplicates every time. I said, "Fuck this," and I left. I was like, "I'm out of here. This is bullshit."
Get good.
Yeah. I kind of feel like this game comes out swinging in a way that's it's real weird. I mean, a lot of Mario games have like a weird charm to them, but this one, it's like the second level is a musical. You know what I mean? Like that's the tone of this game.
Best.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things. Like that level's great, but what's great about this game in general is that there's a lot of rhythm and music based like stuff where it like really plays into it. That's awesome. There's a ton of levels that are like that. And obviously Mario music's always been big, but to have it be like an integral gameplay element, mechanic isn't as normal, I don't think, in a lot of Mario games. And there's quite a few levels like it, like that. There's even not to spoil too much, a reprisal maybe later on of the Piranha Plant thing. A twist on it, if you will.
A sequel.
Yes.
Yeah, I think maybe the only other music level that comes to mind to me right now is the one that's called like Jump Jump Jump, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Where it's just like it's these platforms that's like they turn on and off in a sequential order to the beat.
It's awesome.
But the beat keeps getting faster and faster and faster, so you have to like move
one of my
faster.
favorite levels of the whole game.
Yeah.
I love that.
My experience with the level, I still haven't finished it. I haven't beaten it because I was playing it with 2 other friends, like local co-op. And there's just something really extra hard about, like, I mean, I know we're all just playing the same level, but there's just like that chaos of like you're seeing a lot of things on the screen moving, and then you have to like time it to the beat. It's like, oh man, that's a lot.
That I will say the one mechanic I feel didn't quite feel as good in the game is the wall jump. Like I always felt like maybe it took too long for Mario to get between the difference of like hitting the wall and being against it, ready to hop the other way. There's another level that has that same kind of like platforms that turn on and off with an increasing beat that ends with a whole bunch of wall jumps that I just continually ate shit on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's that much different than it has been in the past, but I'm with you. I remember feeling frustrated sometimes. It's like I feel like I did what I was supposed to do, but the wall jump just didn't grab on to do it. But we just need to get good. Stop whining.
Yeah, this is the Dark Souls of Mario games, some would say.
No, but there are some surprisingly very difficult levels in this game.
Which I find kind of, I mean, it's par for course, I think, for Mario. Like a lot of people think of Mario as like, oh, that family friendly, and it is that family friendly, like, kid friendly game. But it's also like there's some levels in there that can really fuck you up. But it just feels so like opposite of its presentation, right? Because I think the little flowers, the ones that talk to you,
they encourage you.
They do encourage you, and I really don't like them.
You don't?
Some of them are charming, but I just constantly get this like PBS after school special
maybe
vibe from them.
I like the flowers.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because I think online there's been a lot of fun discourse because you can turn the flowers off in the settings.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there has been some fun discourse online over people who like and enjoy the whimsical nature of them, and those who fucking hate the fact that they keep cheering you on.
I love the little moments of like you blow something up or knock something and they go like falling down and they're like screaming or like they're under something or encased in something, you break them out and they're like, oh thank God, you saved my life. I take a deep breath. That kind of stuff.
Like I think for me it's one of those where it's like if there was 25% less of them, I think I'd be more into it, because I do like those moments where because like some of the best things in especially these kind of platforming games is when you do something where you're like, wait, can I do that? And then you do it. And it's like, okay, that's cool, and it's rewarding to you because you're like, I figured out a way to, like, it feels like I'm breaking the game. But then when there's a flower, it's like, oh hi there, right? It's like, oh okay, they knew, the developers knew that you could try to get up here.
Some of that. There's also like sometimes like they'll have their back turned, like the first one of the early levels, like the flower's back is turned like looking into the back of the level or the the background, and like you go back there and then you come out and it's like, whoa, I know you go back there. Like stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like that sort of stuff where like they kind of recognize like, oh, like you did the interesting thing in the game, like you did the mechanic, right? That's kind of fun.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's good.
So 3 levels in, I've got to that point where I thought this was kind of an interesting take where like I have 4 more left on that big map before like Bowser's castle, right? Or 3 more left, yeah. And it says that, oh, you have the choice that you can go to any one of them, which I thought was kind of neat. But I'm curious with you two, are you going in sequential order still, or like Stretch, did you like break sequence and go like straight to the last world or something?
No, I really enjoyed each of the levels, and I found that none of the purple coins were like they weren't like the dragon coins of Super Mario World, which is just like, oh, like these are so fucking frustrating.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was doing every world in order. Normally, if it got to like an open space, I would like start with the shorter levels and then go up in difficulty stars. But I'd be all over the place, just 100% completing, sweeping as I go through. And I mean, we were talking about the difficulty, but it's so great that in that first world, you need to get like 14 Wonder Seeds to unlock the final castle. But there is a chance to get 38 Wonder Seeds there. So it's just like, it doesn't even matter how much, like you can skip over half the levels and you can get to the end. I think that the speed run for this is already down to like 2 hours something.
Yeah. Yeah, Mario games in general are pretty good at that. Like even
Yeah.
something like Odyssey, where there's like 7 billion moons to collect, but you don't need to collect all. Like you can collect like a quarter of them or less and complete the game. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
Like, isn't it even for Odyssey, like to do like all the super secret stuff? It's like 500 moons out of like the 900 that are in the game. It's like along those lines, right?
something.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But it's good. Wonder is, it might be the most. What's the word? Right word. Might be the most
Wonderful.
creative game of the year in terms of just the amount of things in it packed into it in terms of creative little flourishes or mechanics, because there's a lot of like those wonder flower effects that you'll see in that level and that's the end of it. You're never seeing it again. There's some repeats or slight variations of some of them, but for by and large they're unique
Yeah.
level to level, and there's a lot of levels.
Like it was making me think of, I think it's like off the pod, Andrew, you and I have talked about Cocoon and how Cocoon
Yeah.
has like, it's this constant, like you never see the same idea twice, or if you do see it again, it's a twist on the idea.
Yeah, it's building on it.
Yeah, I get that same kind of feeling
Yes.
from the wonder flower effects here, where it's
Yeah.
like
It's
always
awesome.
unique, it's always a special something different.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's something that's like super easy, like the musical, right, with the piranha
Mhm.
plants, right? Like that's just like you're just kind of running through
Just
it. There's no
exactly.
Yeah, there's no difficult like change in platforming or whatever.
Yeah,
But
and
then
some of them, aren't. It's not a difficult thing. It's just like, yeah, let's get fucking wacky for a minute.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's fun. Yeah,
Hmm.
good stuff.
Yeah, because there are a few I've seen already that are like you become an enemy that you've been fighting for a while, like the different mobs,
Awesome.
right? You like turn into them, like a version of them,
It's
and
good
you
stuff.
have to platform through.
The one as a Goomba is so good. It's one of the best.
Yeah,
You play a little. It's like a little horror thing, basically, because you're like, the other enemies are actually like threat. What's great about it is like you go through a level and you're fighting or you're taking out these enemies that are like, it's fucking nothing. Bunch of fucking wimps, and then you get turned into a goom and you're like, oh fuck. Like, I'm fucked. It's just good, and it's nice that Goomba's like they can jump but it moves like a millimeter. It's like it doesn't jump for shit. You're like, oh no. But it's just there's so many good little every I'm so excited every time I run a custom Wonderfly. I'm like, what the fuck's gonna happen now? I cannot wait to see what happens.
Yeah,
every time.
and I like too that it kind of encourages replayability, kind of just for the sheer like exploration factor of it, right? Or like you're just really curious. Like, okay, so if I did the Wonder Seed and it brought me to the end of the level, or the Wonder Flower end of the level, what's like the original quote unquote original level?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? And what kind of stuff did I miss there?
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's there's just so much going on with it. It's hard, and what's really good, getting back to the Cocoon thing, what I think Cocoon's really good at, and what Mario is like a masterclass at in this too, is it's really good at ramping up stuff from like introducing a concept and then taking you through their full idea of it. Like in a world, like you'll see it initially and it'll just keep building on itself. It's fucking incredible at that too. Does it time and again. Like I'm trying to think of a specific example. It happens so much. Like I just got so used to be like, okay, here's this thing. What the fuck are they going to do with it as we go forward? And they're really good at it.
Yeah.
In particular, like, so we mentioned the secret world stuff. They're really good at the you see or get an effect of some kind. Like it's particularly wonder effects, which can get fucking weird. And they make it way fucking hard. Like they take it to what they would see as its natural end in a way without being absurd. That's like we mentioned it. You mentioned that level where it's at a rhythm, at a beat, the platforms change the colors, and you have to go along with the timing of it. Like that's one of the secret levels later that's difficult, where that happens and the pace gets fucking nuts towards the end of it. Where basically, if you're not doing it perfectly at the time, you're done. Like you'll fall behind. And they just do stuff like that. They're really good at keeping the internal logic going, that it's so easy to follow. Like it's when they added another layer on top. Oh, okay, makes sense. You're already ready for it. And Mario's really good at that.
For sure. Stretch, do you have any favorite Wonder Flower effects that you feel like are a lot of fun?
I've just been trying to sit here and think because there really is so
There's so
many.
many.
I'd say I really liked some of the ones where it takes you from a 2D side scroller to a top down.
Yeah, those
Yes.
are cool.
And
Yeah, they're
it
cool.
takes like the design elements that you would have just looked at and been like, yes, that's a wall in the background.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, now you're walking through this space and it completely shifts the way that you're looking at and approaching this level.
Those are good. Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah, there's so many levels that you like get into and it'd be like, what's going to happen. And everything works the way that you expect it to.
Yes.
It has like big WarioWare energy in that, like, it gives you like the do this thing and you're like, okay, I can do it. And there's just you happen to click and you'll click every time. At no point will you pop a wonder flower and be like, wait, what does this do?
Yeah. It comes apparent really, really quick.
Yeah.
I remember so I've been playing a lot with my nephew who's 5, and there was one level where I don't know what they're called. They're those like I don't know, let's see, platforms, but like they compress if you stand on them and then they'll spring back up.
I like the cake blocks.
The cake blocks, yeah. And there's a level where you turn into them, and he couldn't fucking stop laughing. He thought it was the funniest fucking thing that we were just jumping around as little cakes.
Yeah.
It
it looks ridiculous.
It does look ridiculous. It's funny. It's good stuff.
I'd totally forgotten that you get to turn into one of those.
Yeah. Although I think a lot of the ones that I have enjoyed are the ones where you turn into stuff, like you turn into a little goo ball. Turn your own little
the goo
like
ball was so
walls.
cool.
That one's good shit. That one's good.
Oh yeah,
I like that one quite a bit.
Yeah. I think isn't there one too where it's like you turn into one of those things where like it jumps when you jump.
Yeah.
Right, but then you do super jumps to like jump high up. And I was like, okay, this is fun.
There's one that gets fucking wild. You launch yourself way out there. That's good.
Yeah, I think it's just. I mean, the thing is like it's Mario, right? I think from a baseline before this game even came out, okay, at least it's going to be good.
You're gonna have fun,
bare minimum, right? And I think it's great that it like delivers on that too. This one does. Yeah.
One more I wanted to mention because I just did it. I don't know the name of them. They're new. Where they're like chompy guys that follow stuff around. They'll eat the blocks and they'll eat like coins and enemies. I don't know what they're called. Yeah. They fly in the air.
The little helicopter looking things.
Yeah, I wish I knew their names. Because Mario enemies always have the best names. Something stupid.
Yeah.
But there was one where it just becomes a wall of them behind you. Like I said, that's a pretty common thing in a Mario thing. Here's big guy, you're running from big guy, kind of thing. But it just becomes this massive wall, and they're just constantly eating the level behind you as you're trying to get ahead of them. And you have to stun them or with like POW blocks along the way. It's such a cool effect because it gets to the point where you have very little bit of screen left towards the end. You're like, oh fuck, you can't see much of the level coming at all. And I really liked that level. It was good shit.
Their names are Norshers.
Norshers?
Norshers?
Like Nor and Crusher.
Noshers.
Nosher.
Okay, your accent was fucking us on that one. Oh, we got little like chain chomp puppy guys now. Little chain chomp pups. I don't know their names either, but they're little pups, man.
Do we think that because there's a lot of new, like I feel like every world has like a bunch of new.
There's a lot of new
mobs in this one.
Yeah.
Do we feel like we need to revisit our top? What was it? Top 8, top 16?
Chain chomps are the goats, man.
Yeah.
Chain chomps would fuck all these guys up.
That's true.
Although these noshers are pretty. I don't know. They'd probably break their teeth on the chomps.
Maybe like they both enter a cage, but only one leaves.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like naming convention alone, the Hoppo is pretty perfect.
Hoppo, yeah,
pretty good name. Pretty good.
Bouncy hippos, it's so perfect.
Those are you see those early on. They look so good. There's so much to talk about with this game. That's so good. I think genuinely it might be my favorite visually aesthetic game of the year. I love the look of this Mario game a lot. Like it's just so it's amazing that what they get out of the Switch. I get blown fucking away what Nintendo proper can get out of it that nobody else can, obviously.
Yeah.
Because Wonder looks amazing.
Mhm.
I love all the effects that like comic booky. I love the little like sticker thing that comes, like the little like pop out that looks like very comic book, and like the Nintendo Power thing when you get a power up, like you do the mushroom and they go up and they do the pose. Everything looks, it's not like plasticky, but like pastel, like you know
Yeah.
what I mean. But it's got such a great effect. Like everything looks so good. The backgrounds are some of my favorite backgrounds in like a Mario game. They look phenomenal.
the
It's a
the
fucking
way that
great
they have
looking game.
pushed so much life into the movements and like the jumping and
Yes.
and those like animations of the main characters and how they
Yes.
specifically reference like the old Super Mario World 3 kind of artwork
Mhm.
Yeah.
is so fun and so whimsical, and
It's awesome.
it just
Yeah, so many little things like you're saying, like going into a pipe and they grab their hat because it gets left behind. Little shit
Right.
like that, like little touches that do they need to do that? No, but it adds so much charm to it.
Mhm.
It's awesome.
And I feel like it's that whimsy that really complements the art style, because like I think it came out the
Yes.
same day as Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's going for like that photorealistic, like you're really in New York
Also, this
City
is a
energy,
better
right?
Spider-Man game, I must say.
Hmm?
Stretch to know what's up.
What's up?
hmm?
There's a badge. This is a better Spider-Man game. You become Spider-Man, Spider Mario at some point.
Oh yeah.
Fuck Spider-Man. You're
Yeah.
Mario
I
now.
hadn't thought about, well, because I was reviewing Spider-Man, so I'd already finished it
Yeah.
2 weeks before Mario came out, so I had
Yeah, that game is dead
a
to you.
difference.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, but it's like because Mario, right? It's not going for that photo real, like this is a real Mario
Yeah.
man, right? Like it's that charming cartoony energy, and I feel like those whimsical flourishes really complement that art style and really help bring
Yeah.
it to life, whereas like that same kind of thing I don't think would work as well in like more like a gritty game like The Last of Us, which is like photorealistic, right? Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's a nice change of pace for Mario. I think Odyssey, well, the 3D Marios and the 2D Marios always get treated very differently. 3D seems to be where most of the creativity goes in terms of like crazy shit, where the 2D Marios are just like, hey, we're going to make a really solid platform with cool mechanics. And Wonder is the first time it since, honestly, probably like World, where they've gone this kind of weird, like doing a bunch of unique stuff. But what's speaking specifically to the art style, like the new Super Mario Bros. Series, the most recent 2D Mario's have all been kind of basic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like, oh, I guess this is the Mario that we know. Like even the animations. Like I saw someone make a really good point about how like even Mario has fun with those animations where he does the classic him, putting the fist in the air, like pose, where it looks like a hero shot, kind of thing. Wherein like those 2D Mario's, it's just him like throwing his fist up, like it's very limp and kind of like boring, and so it's
Yeah.
just a big change between the two of them. Like those games are still fun; they have a bunch of cool stuff in them, but this Wonder just seems to be such a next level kind of approach to 2D Mario, at least. That's pretty great. I think
Yeah.
it's probably the best 2D Mario since Mario World.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had looked into this because I thought like, oh wow, this is so exciting, new 2D Mario game, and I was like, when really was the last one? And we've got the two Mario Maker games.
Yep.
And we got the Switch port of New Super Mario Bros. U. But before that, yeah, the last one was the Wii U game, New Super Mario Bros. U, and that was like the Year of Luigi expansion. So it was like a decade since we got a proper like storyline world based kind of 2D Mario, but it's just been Mario Maker since then, which like is its own fucking beast.
Yeah. But also like not I would be hard pressed to call it like a mainline 2D Mario, because
No,
it's so different.
definitely
it's so
not.
weird,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And what it does. But yeah, I think this is the first 2D Mario in a decade, and I feel like it's one that definitely earns like it feels like, okay, cool, Mario's back. Like 2D Mario is back, right?
Yeah, it makes If they're doing this with 2D Mario, I cannot wait to see what the fuck's going on with 3D Mario next.
Same.
Honestly, I'm excited for any fucking Mario. I don't give a shit. Like any mainline Mario game, I'm there because like you're gonna have a good time. Like there's cool stuff in it, and every time. Wonder is so good.
One thing that playing Mario Wonder, especially with the musical levels, had me really hankering for was another Rayman game. Because those last two Rayman games,
They're good.
Origins and Legends, were fantastic. Were
Yeah.
great, like tight platformers, good multiplayer and co-op. But like the musical aspect that's always in Rayman games felt like there was a lot of that DNA with some of the weirdness that was going on in Wonder to me.
Yeah.
And with Rayman getting such a prominent role in the Netflix Captain Laserhawk,
Yeah.
hopefully,
That'd be
more
nice.
Rayman
They
is on the
are
way
they are
too.
good games. And it would be nice to have somebody else, some other big-ish budget 2D platformer going on, because it's really nobody else doing it anymore.
Guys, Sonic Superstars came out the same week as
What?
Mario. Sonic Superstars.
Yeah, Sonic
Yeah.
Sonic is garbage. There's never been a good Sonic game, so
Wow, rude.
that's true.
I mean, some of the 3D ones have some good parts.
No. Sonic Mania also sucks, just so everybody knows.
Wow, how could you?
Pretty bad.
That one's pretty good.
No, you're wrong.
Fair.
Wrong.
How do y'all feel about the new power-ups, like the elephant and the drill head bubble?
I think the elephant's the least interesting. I think it's pretty funny, but
Yes.
it's definitely the least interesting one. It's just I'm big now and I could smack stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you could squirt water on shit.
Yeah, but you also kind of move a little, like it feels like sluggish. It feels a little slower.
I don't think you do. It just seems like because you're so big.
Yeah. It's definitely more of a feeling thing than like an actual thing. But yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it because it is just like, hey, fucking, you're an elephant now. Like, but the drill thing, you can do so much cool stuff with it. I really enjoy the drill thing. The weird one that's interesting is the bubble power up. You shoot bubbles.
Yeah,
and
it's like if you hit an enemy with it, they kind of sit in the bubble for a second.
Yeah,
then it pops
really made me think of bubble.
The bubble is what has been breaking speedruns.
I would guess so, because you're basically making platforms.
Yeah, people have figured out how to time it perfectly, that you can like start the level and then just begin infinitely ascending, and then just get to the end.
Speedrunning is great. I love it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even think of that. Like, I know you can like jump on them, but I didn't think about like, oh, you can just keep going infinitely.
Yeah.
That does not surprise me at all. That's great.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember if there's another weird power. At least, I mean, you're both further than me. I don't know if there are other ones.
I think that's kind of it. Most of the other like weird, wacky, like power up stuff is tied to the badges. That's where it gets. There's all kinds of unique stuff. So like I mentioned, I was joking about Spider-Man. You get a badge later on where you shoot out a little piranha plant like guy that he grabs onto the wall and you go to it. So you're basically Spider-Man swinging.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Jumping over to something. So that's where it seems like all the weird power-ups are going. Like you even get one where you turn invisible.
Oh.
Yeah. The invisible one is wild. This isn't like shadow or an outline. You cannot see yourself.
No, like every once in a while, like depending on the lighting or something, how the level is, you can see an outline of yourself, but it's brief. Otherwise, it's you like, and like the level they introduce it to you, they make sure to like strategically put coins around so you can see, oh, I jumped to those coins, I'm probably around here, and that kind of stuff. It is definitely a very weird way to play the game. It's like it really challenged you to like be familiar with Mario's movements.
So
it's
you're
really
saying they implemented a blindfolded speed run without the blindfold, is what you're telling me. Yeah,
a little bit. There are visual cues, some, but it's pretty good. I don't think I'll ever be like, I'm just gonna use this all the time. It's a nice little gimmick thing that's like, whoa, it turns it on your head a little bit.
Yeah. I guess how do you guys feel about the badge system? Because I do kind of have my gripes with it. I'm not 100% on board with it as a system personally. Yeah.
I think it works well to slightly tailor the game to your specific preferences, like depending on how you're wanting to go in, or even if you're wanting to like add certain challenges to it. I think it works well, or especially as you're like exploring more and getting around, like getting the wall climb the wall climb jump badge early on was huge, especially as I was going around searching for secrets and stuff.
Mm.
To the point that even that was like breaking some levels. I ended up sticking with the boosting spin jump by the end of it, which lets you do a jump, and then when you do like your right trigger, like twirl in the air, it sends you higher again. So it's essentially a free double jump. That was a lot of fun. And I think that for me and for the way that I enjoyed playing it, that enhanced my experience where I wouldn't have had it otherwise. But also, I'm sure that there are people who far more prefer the parachute cap kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it lets you tailor it, and it also you can almost experience some levels in a totally different way.
Right.
Like getting to certain spots, maybe it's not as challenging at that time, or what have you. And I think it's a nice with some of the badges. It's a nice way to have a quote unquote easy mode kind of built in to how with some of them, like something like you mentioned, like the parachute cap is a nice like safety thing or something. Like when I've been playing with my nephew, I just leave it on that because it's the easiest one. He's 5. It's the easiest one for him to wrap his head around. It's not complicated, and it is genuinely helpful a lot of times. So it's a nice little like way to ease your way through a level. And then you can just get crazy with some of the other shit.
There's there's the exclamation mark block badge, which is also that adds a whole like another level of like easy, and it also helps draw you towards secrets. Which is quite great. Like there's one of the levels where there's the birds that like shoot their nose out, and then it creates a platform. There's no indication that there's like a hidden block that takes you to a purple coin, but if you have that exclamation mark block on, there's a block there, so it like takes you to it and say, okay, there's something going on there. Like, let me figure that out.
Yeah. And like on the topic of like playing with kids, I think there's also a badge where it's like if you fall in a pit once, it'll like bounce you out, right? And I feel like that's also just a nice like another kind of difficulty easy mode kind of a thing.
That one I wouldn't use as much because the little ghost guy system works pretty well. Like if they just run to you, they pop right back up, kind of thing. So that one wasn't as big of an issue,
right?
To me,
that's fair. Yeah, because I guess with the multiplayer, right, the ghost system is pretty good.
The ghost works pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you guys been playing it online with the online stuff on?
With the Dark Souls stuff?
Yeah.
No,
I mean, you mean if this is a Strand game? Excuse me.
Yeah, it's a Strand
This is a Strand game.
Now, I had not played any of I assume that would just be like playing online with your friends.
No, you should need to turn online on and experience it. If you didn't play it at all,
no,
turn it on. So what it does is you basically like it'll around the world you'll see ghosts of like people running around, but in a level it will also team you up with 3 other people that are going through it at the same time as you, that they are like faded away, but those standees you put down, that's what they're for. And you could place them throughout the level. So if someone's having like if you know, this is a tricky part of the level where people are going to get fucked up a lot, you can put that standee somewhere where that's where their ghosts can fly and they'll pop back up and they could keep going with the level. And stuff like that. And other people, like you use it as a cue, like, hey, here's a hidden block, you just go sit on a hidden block and put a standee there so people aren't like running around. So there's a lot of stuff like help people. Like I've noticed that very Journey like felt like it sometimes to be for some weird reason where like we cannot communicate. There's like 4 emojis that you can do and that's it. But there's been people helping people out get through levels of like particularly like those there's those ones where you have to like find the hidden coins, the flower coins. And I remember helping somebody out on one, like there's a couple like hidden blocks and I was putting standees and they were following where I was going as we were figuring it out. It's just a different
I just did all of those blind on my own.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird, it weirdly works for being an online functionality thing with Nintendo. It's actually pretty cool. I think it works pretty well.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet myself, but I remember seeing that trailer for it and I was like, oh, that is kind of neat how
it looks. It's seamless, so you won't even I mean, you can largely ignore it too. It won't change much. Everything like they're just there. They can't affect you in any way. They can't do anything other than having a standee down that could be helpful to you. Like if you fail on a level, you have a chance to come back, before, instead of redoing it all, if that's what you want.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
and like while on the topic of multiplayer, I also do like how some levels like really encourage multiplayer, but they not in a way where it's like you can't play this level solo, right? But like I think there's one level that I played where it's like these platforms can only be landed on a certain number of times before they like disappear for a bit and need to reset, right? And when you're alone,
playing
that's
that
really
with a 5-year-old, fucking, you want to smack him.
yeah, like because when you're solo, you're like, I can manage this, I can count.
Yeah.
But so is everyone else if you're playing with other people, right? So there's just that chaos energy of like everyone's landing on these platforms. So instead of -1, it's -2, -3, -4, right? And it's like this is kind of neat that like it does make it, I guess, maybe harder or just different, right? But it really plays up the fact that like you're doing a multiplayer game,
Yes. Yeah, it's so much to talk about this game. There's so many good things. Yeah, the multiplayer stuff. The one frustrating thing with multiplayer though has been, particularly with the 5-year-old, is where like it will change who's in the leader. Yeah, it's not random. Like it's either, if you die and you're the leader, it'll swap to the other guy. If they beat you to the end of the level and get on the flagpole first, they will then become the leader. So it's not random. Like there are definite things. So I've definitely made sure to be like, sorry, buddy, I can't let you win fucking ever. Like I got to get on here because it's a nightmare when you're in charge. Just saying. So that part, it would have been nice if they just add a little thing like, hey, can we just swap who's in charge of it? Because it even does it in the overworld, where like, we're running around somewhere and he's like, fuck that, I'm going over here. I'm like, no, man, like you keep fucking us up. I need to go this way. So that part's a little irritating, but I mean,
I would almost think in the level you would want the 5-year-old to be the leader, so that like their character is the focus on the screen, so that like they can't accidentally end up off screen.
But well, part of the problem is too, like, it's not going to happen very often because they're going to be dying all the fucking time. Just saying, they're going to be turning into ghosts a lot, and so it's going to be you for most of the time,
right?
I mean, it's been the ghost system. It's largely been a really good, particularly playing with a young kid. It's a very good system, I think, by and large.
Yeah,
works out really well.
So here's kind of where I'm at with the overall kind of. I think the reason I'm only on like 3 out of at least 6. 7 worlds. Well,
so you hate yourself. Well, that's why
6 and a bit, and then special. Yeah.
Round up and say 8, 9.
Yeah, probably 8.
Yeah. The reason I'm only like at World 3 or finished World 3 is like, I mean, we've talked a lot about how there's a lot of games out this year. Like I still haven't finished Baldur's Gate and etc. I feel like Mario is like, yes, there's a lot of curiosity in this in terms of the Wonder Flowers and all their powers, but I'm also like, this game is so polished and so much of a known quantity in that we know what Mario is kind of like, where I don't feel as much the drive to like finish it for me, really? And like really it's like weird and a little douchey to say, right? Because it's like it's Mario and it's good, but it's like it's so good that I'm like, okay, I kind of know what this is about though. I'm good to move on. That's where I'm at.
If you're wanting to get new gaming experiences,
then continue playing Mario Wonder because it's gonna have a lot of new mechanics. Cool things happening.
No, it's like it's.
I know what you're saying,
but I'm also, there's part of me that like I'm a little
bit, kind of hate you.
I'm a little bit bored, and I'm good to move on now.
That's crazy.
Just do what I did. I 100%, 99% complete the game in a single day, and then move back on to whatever else you're up to.
I can't huff video games that fast.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't like it. I don't like what you're saying right now. I don't like it. You're saying it's there's too much cake to eat, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm full on cake.
Your fill of cake.
Yeah.
And you got to move on.
I think that's where I'm at. Yeah, like it is very fun.
So good.
I just don't think I'm in a place where I'm like, I want to finish a 2D Mario video game. If this were Odyssey, if this were Odyssey 2,
Yeah,
I would be a
it's weird how
lot.
people are very different with 3D Mario's.
Yeah,
They get treated very differently.
I think to me part of it is like this is very 2D Mario, right? Wonder is very level by level, so
Yeah.
it feels very bite sized. But when you want to
Yeah.
sit down and have a long marathon of it, it's like you're having a lot of bites of things, right? Or it's like you have to continuously reset
So
like your
you
expectations.
instead of having bites of cake, you want a tube that's just filling you with cake.
Like instead of a bite of cake, I want to jump into the cake
Yeah, you
and
want to be
explore the whole cake.
you want to Scrooge McDuck a cake and
Yes,
start eating the cake from the inside.
exactly.
I mean,
Okay.
Odyssey really nailed that idea with like, here is a large level.
Yeah.
Like, there's no hopping out and hopping back in. There's no, I
Yes.
want to do level like star 5 of the of this level kind of stuff, and it's just like, go ham, explore,
Have fun.
find
Look
everything.
everywhere. You're gonna find something interesting. That's the
Yeah.
best part. I wrote the review for it. I reviewed it for the site, and it's one of the few 10s we've given. I'll stand by it today. It's still 10 to me. It's still it's still up there. It's probably my favorite Mario. I don't know. Mario World's probably my favorite Mario, but that's what you're right. It's so good about every corner there being something cool to find. And I think
Yeah.
that kind of philosophy has been brought into Wonder in the way of, and how it could in a level-based 2D Mario kind of thing. Because you are, if you take time to look around, like, you will be rewarded. Be like, if you're not, I mean, you can just race through the levels, sure, and that's fun too. But there's plenty of cool shit to like find, and not like it's a collectible you're missing out on. No, sometimes just a neat little thing, a neat little secret, neat little whatever.
Like Captain Toad.
Yeah, there's Captain Toads everywhere. If people didn't know, you can find them.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of neat stuff in it.
See, I guess to me, when I'm playing a level, like when it's specifically designated like this is a level,
Yeah.
my goal is usually like get to the end of the level. That's the mindset I bring to it, instead of like,
Yeah.
let's explore the level. You know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
with Odyssey, where the level is like a giant sandbox,
Sure.
that's where I'm like, okay, let's explore. Let's see
I
what's
can
over
understand
here.
that. Yeah, because it's like, there's an obvious goal every time you enter a level. With Odyssey, there's no goal. It's just
Right.
fuck around, essentially. But there's a lot of that in Wonder. Like, if you do, there's tons of stuff that could catch your eye or whatever. They're like, oh, what the fuck's the deal with that thingy?
Yeah.
Everything's very deliberate, so it's like, obviously this is a thing. If it caught my eye, there's a reason, kind of a thing. And that's what I like about Wonder also. But they're definitely, I'm not saying that the exploration of Wonder is in any way comparable to Odyssey at all. Definitely very different games. And I can see why you would vibe with that more than something like this, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because there are bits of it where I've gone to explore a thing, and then, it took me a couple tries to get up to that thing or whatever, and then it's like, oh, here's like 4 coins, and I'm like,
yeah,
all right, yeah, okay, I don't give a shit. Like,
I mean, that's the exact same kind of exploration rewards that Odyssey did. Like, when you're in the the first dinosaur world, and you go down the pipe into the room with all of the chain chomps and the poison swamp. Like, if you get to the platform on the other end by like hopping between chain chomps or doing some trick jumps over there's just invisible coins. There's so many invisible coins everywhere in Odyssey, or even piles of coins that are just in the most ludicrous places, super high up, that just like you would never be able to get to unless you like mechanically knew a way to get there.
But also, like, Odyssey had that trump card always of like, oh, we could just put a moon there because there's 1,000 of them. So it felt like a better reward, even though it kind of was like, it's the same thing. Like, finding a moon at some point, it's like, all right, whatever. Like, I got it, but that was number 300 or whatever the fuck that I got. Not to take it, I guess Mario still Odyssey's fucking phenomenal, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just something about the moon that makes it feel like it's like the equivalent of you completed a level, but then after Mario lands on the ground,
progress.
You keep going. Yeah,
where like something like when you're finding just 4 coins or whatever the fuck, you're like, okay, that didn't do anything for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
we
just
have
nice
been
where
talking...
they hide the purple coins. Anyway,
and we have been talking about the special world as well, because that all has its own. Well, some of them do have like secret ways to get to. Some of them don't have secret ways. Some of them are like very clear, like, oh, you finished the world, you've spoken with the person and now you get access to special world.
That one, are you talking about that one was the one that took me forever. I was like, what the fuck? How do I get the secret world for this? If you're talking about the third world, right? Yeah, where I was like, there's
honey
there's
waterfall one.
Yeah, I was like, where the fuck do I go? And then I went and talked to the dude. He's like, oh, here you go. I'm like, what the fuck? Nowhere else do you do that.
Well, that was because I was always using the level map, because you get like a watermark check mark if you do 100% complete stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I was showing that I hadn't 100% completed the world, but the only one that didn't have the watermark check mark was that last house. So I'm like, well, I guess I have to go back here.
Oh, nice. I just was like running around. I was like, whatever, I can go here, so I'll try.
Yeah, it's like there's the secret exit from that dancing piranha level. The second level has a secret exit.
It does.
But that just leads you to Captain Toad.
Yeah, the first secret level
like
that gets you to the secret world's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
I think.
I
think that was pretty deliberate though to get you there.
Yeah,
but if you're not curious about exploring, I can see why you may not have found it yet, Robert.
That's true. Yeah, because I just don't.
I don't care.
Yeah, I kind of really don't care about exploring this game. This is the mindset I go in, and maybe I just need to like replay some of the levels and be like, okay, let's give them more of a college try. Because I think at first my mind was like, okay, I want to at least like not 100% complete, but like 70% complete. So I tried to like, if there's 3 wonder seeds in a level, I'll like replay it to make sure I get all the wonder seeds. And I'm now at the point where I'm like, if I get one, I'm good. let's keep going.
You gotta at least get the wonder flower of every level.
Yeah, I do that. But I guess like if I run into a 3 wonder seed one, I'm like, if I figured out the wonder flower, I'm good. I don't need to redo this.
Yeah, so there's
Stretch is recoiling from you right now.
Because there's the 6 ways to get to the secret world, and each of those has 2 special wonder seeds. But then there's at 6 special wonder seeds, there's a ultra difficult level.
Unlock it. It's fucking hard.
And then at 12, there's an even harder level. And then after beating that level, then you get to go to a different one. And that one is this one that I have rage quit. That the gimmick of this level is that it is a badge gauntlet, that you are auto assigned a badge.
That's awesome.
For different portions.
I'm so fucking in.
And you just got to get through the segment. So like the part that I keep fucking up on because I keep messing up the timing is that it's the spring feet, like one that you're always bouncing.
That one always fucks me. Yeah, that one fucks me up too.
But you have to go through a gauntlet of like the spinning fire loops.
Oh, fuck.
And some of them are even like it's a spinning fire loop on a 3-block wide, and then a spinning fire block 1 block wide, 1 block wide, and then the end. And you've got to be able to like time your jumping perfectly with where the fire is, and then get through 3 perfectly. But like you've got to go through the invisible badge. Like there's a huge, super difficult portion of that. I am the step before getting halfway through that level.
Is there a flag there at least?
Yeah, they give you flags every couple.
Okay.
But it's fucking brutal.
That sounds awesome. I can't wait to get to that.
I really look forward to hearing how you go.
Honestly, the badge gauntlet part, that kind of interests me because I feel like for me, one of my things with the badge system is that it is nice that you can tailor it, but it kind of sucks you only get 1. Like you can only equip 1. And I feel like because there's some levels where you can get through every level with whatever badge, right? Like it's not like so hard that you can't do that. But there are some levels where like I'm thinking like the water ones, I think in 2, where it's like, okay, like clearly you should have the dolphin kick one. Because like you can't use the other badges. They're really useless except for the dolphin kick one. But like if you don't have it on, then it's kind of like, well, you're fucked,
Yeah.
But they fixed water levels, so that's fucking great.
Yeah.
2D Mario water levels used to be the worst. And now
I think part of it is also there's very few of them. Where it seemed like before they're like, we're gonna keep throwing them at you, and it's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah, the badges are that badge gauntlet sounds pretty great. And I'd say, Robert, if you're seeing these as like levels to do, I think you would really enjoy the secret world levels. So I would, if I were you, if you're not all that interested in exploring, just fucking look up which ones are where, and,
Yeah.
and just get to them, because those levels are pretty great. Definitely very difficult. Not well. Some of them they give you the hardest difficulty, but they're not all that hard. Some of them are really fucking hard, though.
Okay.
Yeah, they get harder.
Yeah, that one that we were talking about where it's the timed till the colors move on as the time as the rhythm goes on. That later one for that one is fucking hard. It's tough because I remember getting to the point where like right at the end it's single block wall jumps where you have to do it perfectly. And up till that point, it's kind of hard. We have to keep up. And like I remember getting right up to before that point, and I'm like, oh man, I must be almost at the end. And then I saw that, and I'm like, fuck me. Like, damn it.
Yeah.
Like the last little bit is a bitch. But the good part is like with that, if you're on time, you're gonna get it. You should get it. If you've kept up with the pace, you should be good to go. But it's that kind of stuff. Like it's I don't know. Those levels are pretty fun. Good stuff.
I think my goal is to still finish Spider-Man 2 first, because we're going to talk about that for next week's episode, just as like a little hint for what's coming to you. So I want to finish that for sure, so we can have a good discussion on it.
Yeah.
But then if I finish that, maybe I can swing back to Mario.
Swing back. I see what you did there.
Thank you. Yeah.
We can play the superior Spider-Man game as Mario Spider.
With the grapple piranha plant.
You could be a Luigi spider. Think of how cool Peach spider.
That does sound kind of cool.
Nabbit spider.
Wait, I thought Nabbit couldn't.
They can't do it. Oh, they can use
badges. Oh no, they get badges. Yeah.
So badges, not power-ups.
Right. Have any of you played as like Yoshi or the Nabbit?
Yeah.
Just to see what that's like.
It's just you just don't get power-ups.
It's just the game. Yeah, you just don't get power-ups.
Yeah. But it's also like if you fall in a pit, you don't die, right?
You don't die. The only way you die is you fall off the level. Like you fall into a pit or something.
Okay. Gotcha.
But if you get damaged by an enemy, you're fine.
Just knock back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I tried to cheese that final level as playing as a Yoshi.
Did that help?
But because it's about getting those three fire platforms in a row. You don't just not take damage. You get knockback. So it was even with the ability to be invincible, I was still getting fucking pushed off into the void.
They knew. They thought it through. Yeah.
They know. Well, they know if you made it to that point of the game, you're. I mean, you having to rely on something like Yoshi or something is not happening.
Well, it's just not going to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is it worse than that secret dungeon in Final Fantasy 15 that was secretly a platformer? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember that.
I only played this like the main story of 15.
There's a secret dungeon where they're like, oh, you know what we should do? A 3D platforming dungeon in the dark. It's real bad. Would not recommend.
Awesome.
Nope, it's real bad.
Final Fantasy 15 sucks, dude. It sucks.
Yeah. But I think I'm all out of thoughts for Mario Wonder, but also I am the least excited of the three of us on it. So do you have any like last thoughts you want to leave our listeners with about it?
I think as a complete package, it's there. Like unlike Mario Odyssey, where I would like love to see another world, I think that Wonder leaves such a good taste in my mouth after completing it. Well, aside from the one level that I'm gonna choose to not return to, I think they've done an incredible job.
Yeah, it's a great game. I think it's the it's the first time people should be excited about 2D Mario. Not like I said, not to downplay what the other ones. They were just all kind of samey. They all visually looked the same. They all worked kind of the same. There wasn't a lot of excitement with them in a way where Wonder definitely is. And like I said, this definitely felt like the goal was how creative can we be how fucking weird can we get with it if we wanted to. Because they're approaching every level in a unique way. Like obviously all the base mechanics are there, but like you said, there's so many new enemies. The badges changed so much. The wonder flowers just absolutely turn everything on its head. It was such a great idea to be like, hey, what if we just made the level of something fucking different in the middle of it, but also related to what else is going on in the level. And they're really good at doing that over and over and over again in creative ways. Like I said, it's probably the most creative game of this year in terms of just the amount of creativity on display.
Has anyone here played Alan Wake 2 yet though?
No.
It's like that game also gets weird from what I've
It
seen.
gets weird. That's art house weird though.
Yeah. That's Portland creative.
But this is just another banger of a year. Like this year's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. The only like Tears of the Kingdom came out this year.
Yeah, I know. It's
If
pretty
you, if you want to talk creativity,
It's
I
true.
think that's still
It's pretty creative.
Man, but there's something in the water in Nintendo HQ, right? Like
Dude.
they're doing a good fucking job. Now they just need to get Pokemon on board.
Well, I think what must help Nintendo is like they literally only have to think about gameplay. Like Wonder, does it need a story? Who gives a fuck? Like, they don't have to do anything with that, so there's no effort put into that. The same like Tears of the Kingdom, like it has a story, sure, it's got some lore going on, but it's still pretty in comparison to a lot of other games, still pretty skimpy overall. So like they can really just be like, fuck all this extraneous nonsense. How we make play good, and they can do just that for the whole time, forever and ever, and it really pays off. And not only that, but like who knows how long some of these have been in development? We don't fucking know. Like Nintendo doesn't reveal this shit. They could be. Oh, we know for like Tears of the Kingdom, it was 6 years between it and Breath of the Wild, and it used mostly the same map. With, I mean, obviously there's stuff added to the sky and shit, and the depths, but like it's like so they're just gonna have to go ham on how the game plays.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, some of the abilities you get in Tears of the Kingdom were like prototype abilities in Breath of the Wild. Like I think the Ascend, or I think Ascend wasn't that like a it was a dev tool that they used.
And then everybody they used it so much they're like, fuck, we're just gonna put it in the game.
Yeah,
it's so useful.
And it justifies all the caves, so it's like win-win. You know, it's like this is a cool way to do it.
Yeah, that game without Ascend, like all those caves without Ascend, would have been.
Well, and I'm sure they designed it with that in mind. Like, oh, you have an escape route. You have an escape rope in your inventory, man. Escape rope out.
And they designed it in a way where if you reach the natural dead end of a cave, it's like, well, now if you ascend, there's probably something up there.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I know. We always have to forget. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, that's what I said. This year's just nuts. Between Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate, Wonder. Now Alan Wake 2's getting crazy fucking reviews. Spider-Man got crazy reviews. Like it's a nuts year.
It's been an unreal fucking year.
Like a historically great year. And not only that, but like the variety, like between Spider-Man versus Mario versus Baldur's Gate versus Zelda are so fucking different. All of those are very different games. Alan Wake 2, very, very different game than all of them. Like that's awesome. It's a great year.
Yeah, and I guess like even like horror fans eating good with like Dead Space and Resident Evil earlier this year.
Yeah, that's right. Resident Evil 4 remake came out this fucking year too.
Yeah, we did a episode dedicated to that too. If you wanted to check out our thoughts on Leon and Bingo.
Leon, what a fucking dope. I love him though. But what a dope.
Yeah.
What a loser.
But I think that's a wrap on this week's episode of the TechRaptor podcast. We hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please leave a comment down below. Let us know what's some of your favorite Wonder Flower powers that you've seen in Mario Wonder. You know, that one that's stuck to you that we didn't talk about, that you're like, why didn't they mention this one? It's so cool. We'd love to see that in the comments below on YouTube if you're watching there. And hit subscribe if you haven't already, either on whatever podcatcher you're listening on, YouTube itself. If you're there, likes also help us as well. If you want more content from us, we're at techraptor.net. You can find news, reviews, features, etc. Throughout the week there. And if you want more of our show, we will be back next Monday talking about Spider-Man 2. The goal is spoilers open. So if you want to catch up with us for next week's episode, probably play more of Spider-Man until you run credits, because that's what our goal is too. We will see you then. Bye bye.